Hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
Hello, all, and welcome. Hello and welcome, everybody.
Hello. We did it.
We are playing. We're playing duo today. Just a dual team today. Patrick decided he set up shop at a Golden Corral at around 11:15 this morning, and has decided to get the most out of his money by just, hey, it's all you can eat. And so he's just sticking at all the meals and seeing if he can make it through to breakfast time. So send him a ping of encouragement to let him know you're thinking about him on his food journey tonight. But it's just going to be Lauren and I. So this will probably be, let's just be honest, between the two of us, we're the most efficient of the three of us. Patrick just drones on and on and on. It's hard to get him to stop talking. So tonight is going to be probably just a lot quicker, if we're being completely honest. Who's in the chat? We should probably pull the chat up since Patrick's not here.
I see Kreider. I see Becca.
Yeah, if you're in the chat, give us a holler.
Hey, hello.
Let us know you're here. We see that there's a handful of you, so let us know you're here.
Yeah.
We are going to get started. I feel like everything's ready, so we may as well just get started.
Yeah, we can just do this. We don't have to delay. Patrick's not going to sidetrack us with a non sequitur before the show. We can just go in.
I think we're ready. We can just start. I do think we should clap just for the purposes of we don't know where this is going. So 3 and 2 and 1 and cool.
We did it.
That's good. That's real good. Okay.
We did the claps.
We got the claps. I'm hearing the Twitch stream was like echo. Could you hear it? Because I was like, why do I hear us like 6
I didn't
seconds
hear it.
later? But it's because it was faintly playing on the computer over here. So okay, we're good.
Okay.
I didn't have.
I was like, I do have it in another window, but I realized to turn off the sound.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like that was just a dig. All right. Welcome to episode 553 of the Popculture Roundtable. Anything better than you can do. Yes, we can do anything better than you. In this episode, we talk about Monkey Man and The Gentleman. I'm Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
And you're Lauren Rubin.
Yeah, sorry. Always autopilot every time. We can try one more time.
So 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when you weren't here, Patrick, you weren't here, and so I said, I'm Andrew Sale, and he said, I'm Patrick Hill. He almost said, I'm Lauren Rubin. Because he's used to hearing that afterwards. All right, let's try that
I'm glad
one
that
more
it's not
time.
just me. Yeah.
Let's try that one more time. In this episode, we talk about Monkey Man and The Gentleman. I'm Andrew Sale.
And I'm Lauren Rubin.
So strap in, hold on, and sit tight, because it's time for another episode.
I'm so proud of myself.
Good. As you should be. Okay, we like to kick off every episode. He's probably going to want a clean cut of that, yeah?
Yeah.
We like to kick off every episode by going around the table, which is where we talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our weeks. Lauren, it's just you and me across the table today. Patrick,
I know I really want to hear about yours because you played in the Lorcana tournament, and I'm really curious to hear about it.
Yeah, since last we spoke, why don't I just start then? Since last we spoke, I played in 2 Lorcana tournaments, and I'm just going to show you the fruits of what has been procured over the last week. I'm just going to pull this up. I'm going to go full.
So you got this for winning, right?
So you get one of these cards. So what I'm showing Lauren is a Stitch promo. It's an enchanted card. It's the first enchanted promo card that you get for getting top 4.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's rad.
The colors are awesome.
They really are. And this card is what you get for winning top 4 in one of the tournaments.
Congratulations.
I got 15th in my first tournament and 23rd in my second. I definitely traded somebody for this.
Okay, I was like, so how did you get this then? That's still pretty good, right? Like, how many people were in each tournament?
Okay, so the first tournament had I think it had 24. And so I got 6th or 15th out of 24. And then I got
okay.
I see,
in the middle.
Congrats, Andrew. Oh, never mind. So 16th out of 24. And then yesterday was the other one, and I got 23rd out of 32.
So kind of right in the middle both times, actually.
Just not super great, but I wasn't last. But it was So here's how I got the card. So the guy that I lost to in the first tournament, one of the guys that I lost to, he was telling me really even need or want the card. I'm just going to trade it for some other stuff. And I said, well, I've got some unopened product. I want the card. That's the only reason I'm here. And so I said, if you make it to the top 4, would you be willing to trade for it? And he was like, absolutely. I knew that he made the cut. I knew he made top 8 before I left. And then I left, and then I was just waiting. And then I got I messaged him on Facebook and was like, where are we at? What, did you win? And then I saw the shop post their top 4, and he got 3rd. And so then I was like, okay, he got 3rd. He secured. He
has the card.
He secured the card.
We're halfway there.
So then I messaged and was like, hey, how are we still on for the congratulations? By the way, are we still on for this? Whatever. It took him a little bit, but then he responded, and then we negotiated and got it all worked out. So I traded him some stuff for the card. Cool. He didn't get 2nd place, which also is the playmat. So now I'm in pursuit of a playmat. They're selling for like $350. I'm like, there's no way I'm paying $350 for one, but
that's honestly like less than I would have expected it to cost. Like resale like that. It's still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but it's less than I was thinking it would be, given like some of the prices you've thrown out for the other stuff. But yeah.
So the card right now, the card right now value is valued at around $650.
Wow, so you kind of got the better deal then, or like the more coveted.
Well, yeah. I mean, I traded $600 worth of product for it, so it was like it was a pretty straight trade. The card has gone up in value though, because now the tournaments are over. You can only get the card for these last 2 weeks. So now all the cards that are going to be distributed have been distributed. So now the price is starting to go up.
Got it.
I'm hoping to be able, if I can snag one of these playmats for like $200, which I've put it out there several times to several people who are selling it for $350, and they say like, or best offer, and I'm like, hey, would you take? And they just decline it immediately.
Can't hurt to just ask.
But if I can pull that off, then I'll feel pretty good about that. But the card looks fantastic, and so the tournaments were super fun. I did terribly. I've never done anything like this, but I learned a lot of stuff, and the people were super nice, very intimidating at first. But then a lot of the people who were at the first one were also at the second one, and so when I walked in to the second one,
that helps so much.
They were like, "Hey, good to see you," and did you make some of the adjustments? And they were like telling me after they would destroy me, they'd say, "Hey, here's a couple of adjustments I would make to your deck to make it more powerful."
That's awesome.
Or you're not really optimizing this card the way it's supposed to be used. Try using this in this way. And so I made some adjustments. And so the second time, the second tournament, I played way better. And the games that I lost, I won more games. And then the games that I lost, I only barely lost. Like I could have won. Okay. I was like one turn off.
Which there's some luck in it, because it's like what cards you draw in what order, and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. There very much is. You can build the right deck and then still not draw the right cards at the right time and lose.
So you would do it again though, right? Like you had fun?
I'm absolutely going to do it again. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And
awesome.
I'd like to get into a more regular like tournament style play, or like a league play. I would love to do that so that I can just get better at it. Becca and I have been playing a lot. We've been playing
training.
This week. Yep, seriously. After we're done tonight, we'll probably play a little bit again. But then on the topic of Lorcana, I got into my office today, and there was a note, this folded over note in my mailbox. And it just said, "I thought you would enjoy this." And that was it. It was written in like this blue cursive. I did not recognize the handwriting. And I opened up this little note, and there was a foil Lorcana card. I left it at the office, but a foil Lorcana card in like a hard case, and it just said foil. Like, it had like a foil thing on it. And I was like, this is awesome. Who gave me this? So then I started trying to track it down, and no one knew, no one recognized the handwriting until a friend of my coworker, and then her husband, friend of mine, Johnny, who we've talked about on the show. He's the guy who does like the Texas Lobo. Oh, he's here right now. Texas Lobo 30.
Sweet.
So Johnny was like, I think I know who gave that to you. I was like, well, who? He's like, I don't know if I should say. I'm like, well, tell me, like, say something. And he's like, well, the other day my father-in-law asked me, hey, what's that card game that Andrew and JP like to play? And he told him. And so he was at this collectible expo, like the San Antonio Collectors Expo that just happened to be this past weekend. He collects like Pokemon and basketball and baseball cards and things like that. His name is Renee, and he saw some of the cards, and he got one for me, and he got one for JP because he knew that we liked it. So it was like a really sweet little moment.
That's so nice.
And Amanda was like, yeah, I thought that was my mom's handwriting. Like, what?
That's really clever to get like your mom, like it wasn't even the guy, like her dad bought it. So like getting the mom to write the note is like even more,
it was just like
sneaky. I love it.
2 steps removed. And so, so anyway, Renee, you'll never listen to this, but thank you. It was a super sweet little gift. I'm going to leave it at the office. It's going to stay there just to remind me that I have fantastic coworkers and friends. So
that's so nice.
That's really. Oh, I did. We had our Whiskey and Wise group last week, and we did that book where we talked about that I talked about last week about the devil.
In the White City, right?
Awesome, super fun. Yeah, and
very cool.
I got one of these glasses from the Lone Star Whiskey Society. It's this etched glass whiskey glass. And it says cool. Lone Star Whiskey Society. And I guess all the other members of the group had gotten one before I had ever joined. And this past session, Mark, who was leading it, said, hey, there's a couple of members who have joined since we gave these glasses out. And for those of you who don't have one, now you have one. So I was gifted that glass. So I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to maybe drink some whiskey
really nice.
Out of there in the next day or two. So...
That sounds nice.
I think that's me. The next thing I'm going to talk that I've been doing this week, I'm going to talk about for my master category. So I'm just going to. Oh yes, Becca is reminding me aggressively with 3 exclamation points. We did go to the ballet on Friday.
Oh,
we went
very
to
cool.
See Swan Lake at the
nice.
Majestic Theater. It was beautiful. I had never been to a professional ballet before. I've been to. Ballet recitals and things. But have you ever been to a professional ballet? Like
Only a couple times. Yeah. One of my good friends here, she has season tickets. So every now and then she lets me go with her. So I've seen a couple ballets here, but it's really neat. It's very nice.
It is. It's unique because I love musical theater. That's my thing. Right. And so it's weird to not have any dialogue. And so when intermission happened, the first thing we did was pull up our phones and like, okay, what the heck did we just watch? what is the story they're trying to tell here? And so we read a synopsis and read through it. And but it was beautiful. It was a wonderful evening. We had a date night, and we had to.
That sounds really nice.
With Fiesta,
it's like the grocery store.
No, like it's like the city of San Antonio celebrates Fiesta. I'm sure there's some sort of.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. There is like a grocery store chain here called Fiesta that I was like, everyone knows about Fiesta.
No, not that Fiesta. I don't know the historical significance. I've lived here for 9 years. I should probably learn the historical significance, but it's a major city celebration. We had to drive into downtown San Antonio for the ballet, and it was the weekend of Fiesta, and it was
so it was hectic.
I'm reminded why I like living in a suburb. You live in the city, and I'm so glad I don't live in
but I Uber a lot so that I don't have to deal with parking, and like I'm very aware of like when those things happen, so you're like planning ahead with your car all the time, like in Houston anyway, I think, because a restaurant having parking makes or breaks a night. It is a huge thing here.
I totally get that. So anyway, What was nice was the parking actually was cheaper. They made like the event parking was cheaper because of Fiesta, I think.
Oh, so then
So
like if
normally
you're going
like
to the ballet,
$25. It's like the
oh,
parking garage is normally like $25, but because Fiesta was happening, they had special event pricing that was only 15. So I was like, okay,
that's crazy to me because usually it's like, oh, there's an event, it's $50.
I know, but that's just not how it worked.
Mhm.
Okay, that's gonna
I'm glad.
be it for my week, and I'll talk about the other thing during my category. Lauren, what did you
Cool.
do?
Yeah, so I've just stayed busy. I've been running a lot because the weather's like not too hot yet, which is really nice here in Texas. So trying to
Today
get
was gnarly.
outside. We've had that
Today was
storm. Did
thick.
you get that storm?
Oh no, we didn't get a storm.
Okay, so today it's just been raining on and off. So I
Okay,
didn't. Today's like the one day in the last 2 weeks I didn't run, but it's been really nice out lately. So I've just been like trying to get outside and do that. I have like a
that's
little
good.
garden at my house now, just like enjoying the weather while this lasts because I know it's just like it's coming for us. The heat is coming.
Ours hit today, so maybe yours is going to come tomorrow because
It's always like, yeah, like we had this big storm and then it will get hot. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just bracing myself. I know it's coming, but it's
Yeah.
been nice and like
It's
just
been
sitting
nice to
outside
live
as
in the
much as I
denial
can.
that this is how the world is all the time for us.
Hey, I'm just enjoying it, like soaking it in as much as I possibly can.
Absolutely.
So just like on the opposite end of the spectrum, maybe part of the reason that I appreciate this so much is because I lived in Wisconsin for a long time, and right now Top Chef is in Wisconsin, and I've been watching the new season.
Ooh.
There's kind of like a shakeup this season. This is like season like 20 or something of Top Chef. I don't actually remember anymore, but Padma Lakshmi is no longer the host. Kristen Kish, who like won many seasons
I
ago.
didn't know that.
She was great. She's like very memorable because she was like the first chef that came through Last Chance Kitchen. I don't know why I could not say that, which is like Tom Clicky's kind of after show. But I love her as a judge. I think it's like kind of just like a good new energy to have in a show that's been around for so long. And it seems like they kind of like switched up some production stuff. Like they kind of have some new camera angles and like some new graphics, and just kind of like it seems like they just were like, oh, like we're gonna like change up all the hosts and everything. Let's kind of refresh the show just a little bit. And I think like all of it just feels like like just small tweaks and improvements to a show that was already great. So I'm just liking it. And because it's taking place in Milwaukee, it's also really fun for me to like see all of those places that I used to work. And like Milwaukee is such a small place that like I recognize the grocery stores that they are in. Like I'm like, I was there. But yeah, Andrew's helping me out. It's season 21 right now. So yeah, it's been around for a very long time. So it feels like it's a good time to like refresh things a little bit. They didn't change a lot, but like it feels like a little bit new and different, which is nice.
They did that a few years ago too. They did a little bit of like a reboot, and I watched that season and I liked the changes that they made.
Yeah,
that was maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago, or 3 maybe.
I remember when they did that, like they started doing the like quick cuts and changing the music a little bit and some other stuff, like really just like kind of up the production level of the show quite a lot. And like change the kitchen background will be much nicer too, because it used to be like very like industrial kitchen with stations.
Yeah, it looked more like it looked a little bit more like oh gosh, is it called what's that show where you picked a chef master and you had to
Master Chef?
No, not
Master
Chef.
Iron Chef.
Iron Chef. Yes, it felt like Iron Chef to me, where it was a little bit more or
it feels more like a set, like it's made for TV, like a little bit.
Yeah.
But in a good way, where it's like now the camera can get in front of their stations and you can see things better. And it's all, I think, like wise improvements over time, And then I have one more shout out for the week. I'm sure that this show has come up during the time that I've been on M of One, but they just dropped it again on Netflix. So I started rewatching it, and it feels like a good time to just bring the show up again. And that is Black Sails, which is like a really freaking awesome show. It's like, to most people, it's like the pirate show that used to be on Stars and no one watched because it was on Stars, but it's like such an underrated show. It's so good. Like it came out like around the time of Game of Thrones and kind of does all the things that show does just as well. But I think the kind of like fun twist with Black Sails is that it is it's historical fiction mixed with like a prequel to Treasure Island. So like Captain Flint and Long John Silver just John Silver. Long John Silver. Sorry.
I particularly love the episode where he invents the hush puppy.
He is a chef, so there's at least something there. But okay, but anyway, so like they are the main characters. The show starts though like 20 years before like the events that happen in Treasure Island would happen, and minor spoiler for Treasure Island, a book that came out like over 100 years ago. But like kind of the the main thing that you know about that is that they're searching for a treasure that was like on an island where the captain of the ship before was marooned, and you know that that's Captain Flint. So you know that these people are going to turn on him at some point, and I think it adds this like awesome tension into the show like throughout the whole thing. It's such a good show. It's only like 4 seasons, and they managed to like keep the quality up and like the pace up the entire time. It like never has a bad season. It never has like a slow moment. This show is really cool. It was like it's like funny because it was on Stars, like no one saw it, and that's like the only reason I think most people don't talk about it. So I'm like just really happy to see that it's on Netflix and it's been like in the top 10 on and off. So like it's just like this show is great and like I just want people to give it a shot. Like it's such a cool show. Like the actors in it are so good, the costumes, the production level, like I pretty much have no negatives about this show. I think it is so good. So if you like pirate stuff, if you like Game of Thrones and that kind of like genre fiction type of stuff, like this is a great show. It's all on Netflix now. You can binge all of it, and you will want to binge it because it's very addictive. Like each episode leaves on cliffhangers where you're like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
So
like
like
all
Lost.
the time. Yeah, it actually like I read a review that compared it to Breaking Bad, where like the problems, like they solve one problem by creating another problem constantly, and it really keeps the momentum going with the story. It's really great, and they have like lots of like actual historical figures kind of mixed in with the characters of the like the crew of like Captain Flint's crew and everything. So that's like, you'll see Billy Bones talking to, like Charles Vane and stuff. So like there are real like events and real people mixed in with these like fictional events of Treasure Island and stuff. But absolutely great series. Like I said, all on Netflix right now. So go check it out.
This might make it onto my list. I remember vaguely Black Sails. I don't know if you've talked about it on the show, or if you did, it was.
I feel like I've at least like mentioned it maybe at some point, right, or like because it's a show I love, but it came out way before like we did, like I was on this show, so like it wasn't fresh at any point for me to be like. And this week I watched Black Sails. Like
you may have referenced it, but I didn't really know anything about it, and so. When you mentioned it in Slack the other day, I was like, oh, like, yeah, like, why do I know that? But I don't feel like I've watched it. And so now looking at it, I think, yeah, this is something that it's like right up my alley.
Yeah, I think like check out a trailer. It's really, really great show. Like it's so cool. I just really can't recommend this one more.
Awesome.
That's going to be it for me. So now it's time for master categories.
Well, if that's it for you, it's time for, like you said, Mackenzie, like you said, Lauren. Like you said, Lauren?
Oh, master categories.
Bing, boom, boom, boom. Okay.
Dance break.
This is what we get to do when Patrick's not here.
Yeah, he would never dance with us.
I get to play with the soundboard. Okay,
I love the soundboard.
Every week, the master categories, when we talk about the dice we rolled the week before, those dice give us our categories. We pick our topics based on those categories. We're actually talking about dice we rolled 2 weeks ago because we
played D&D
last week. And if you tuned in for that, you may or may not have enjoyed it. I don't know. Because
we hope you enjoyed it.
I wasn't paying attention to the thread, but I was enjoying playing. So that's really what it was about for us. If you like that, let us know. Maybe we do more things like that. But either way, last week was just for us. This week, we are talking about our dice from 2 weeks ago. And Lauren, you just finished talking, but I feel like you should just continue talking.
Totally fine with that. I actually feel like our two things go together really well. So you'll see maybe once I start talking about it. So I actually saw this movie last week right before we were going to podcast. And I was like, I'm so mad that I can't talk about this movie sooner because it was just one of those movies that you get out. And I saw it with my friend and we were both like, that was so cool. I love this movie. So I'm going to talk about.
All of us said that like right before we hit record for the show. We were like,
we all wanted to talk about stuff.
We all have things we want to talk about this week, and we're not actually talking about any of this stuff. So I'm glad that you got to carry it over.
Saved it for now. Don't worry, I'm still excited about it. So I'm going to talk about Monkey Man. So this is a movie. It just came out beginning of April, and it is the first movie directed and written by and starring Dev Patel, who I love. You may know him from The Green Knight or like Slumdog Millionaire. Millionaire is probably his most famous movie, and Skins if you go like way back. But the kind of IMDb summary for this movie is an anonymous young man unleashes a campaign of vengeance against the corrupt leaders who murdered his mother and continue to systematically victimize the poor and powerless. And I definitely wanted to rely on a good summary like that, because it's a little hard to explain this movie because it's very simple, and I didn't want to like spoil too much because it's just kind of a revenge movie. It's an action movie, but there is some like layers to the story that they wanted to tell. But man, is this just a cool movie. Like, I love action movies. The kind of like elevator pitch that I kept hearing for this movie is this is Dev Patel doing John Wick, and I think that's like not an unfair comparison. It is like, him in a suit most of the movie fighting to get revenge. Like, I can definitely see the comparisons. But I think like even more so than John Wick, it really reminds me of The Raid. There's like a little Kill Bill in there. I think knowing that he worked with Danny Boyle on Slumdog Millionaire, you can kind of see the like Danny Boyle camera influences, because he has like a very distinct style. I think where like things move at a really quick pace, and like the whole movie has kind of got that like choppiness to it, like in a like a cool way though. Like, I think like I read some reviews that were like calling it a bit sloppy and stuff. I'm like, I don't know though, because like I feel like it feels almost stylized in a way where like even if it was sloppy, it was maybe a little on purpose, or like, it's also his first time directing. So like, maybe it's just like those edges showing a little bit, but I didn't feel like any of that like took away from the movie or made me like, be like, oh, that's lame or something. Like, it's just kind of like, oh, I don't totally understand how we got from this scene to the next one, but okay, we're moving on. That's totally fine. I think
it does feel like I've seen the trailer for this movie. It sounds like
the trailer is cool.
The trailer does a good job of communicating the style of the movie though, because the trailer is very quick cut, very kind of fast paced and whatever. And sometimes trailers will be that way, and then the movie will be very slow paced, or only a couple of scenes will feel that way. So it sounds like at least from the trailer to the movie, maybe their cinema score is really high because people knew what they were getting into.
I think that is like a really accurate. I actually have in my notes to say, like, if you want to get like a vibe for this, watch the trailer, because I think it's a really well done trailer. It gets you really excited, doesn't show you too much. Like, it's a really well cut trailer. And I think like they use a bit of the score from the movie, which is really unique and cool, and like how they do it. There's some moments where it's like a little bit of a like needle drop, but I think when they do their own score stuff, they really came up with some cool things. Like there's some action beats that are set to like having a live drummer in the scene, like doing the beats based on what people are doing in the room. And some of those scenes are like really, really cool. Like, I was listening to those again afterwards, and like they're really hold up. Like, it's just like very unique. I felt like this movie just felt very unique. Like, there's stuff I've never seen before, or like, even though like it feels like a genre that you've seen before, in like that, yes, it reminds me of John Wick and stuff, but it's like they managed to like make the fights feel fresh, kind of show different camera angles, do things that like just don't, like, they just haven't seen before. And like, maybe that comes off as a little bit sloppy, but I personally just felt like all of the enthusiasm behind the camera and like that like shows through. So it's like, clearly this is something that like Dev Patel like sat on for a while, probably had simmering like in his head, and wanted to get it out of his head the way that he had it. And like, I think that like you can tell that like that care and attention is paid throughout the whole movie to like the way it was made. And so like, even if it doesn't 100% work, it like still makes you feel something. I at least is like how I felt about it. I think there's kind of like a political storyline, and for me it went a little bit over my head because like I don't know enough about Indian politics to really like have been figuring that out ahead of time or anything like that. I was just kind of taking like their interpretation of it for like at face value. But I think that they explain everything in a way that like even someone like me who knows nothing about this understands the context before the end of the movie, and like everything is clear, even if I didn't understand it like when it started. I just think like honestly, this is a really cool movie. It's not going to be in theaters much longer. You can already rent it on I think Amazon and Apple TV, but it'll be streaming on Hulu, I read. It was really supposed to be a Netflix movie, but they killed it, and Jordan Peele kind of rescued it from the grave, which is great because, like,
wow.
I think that like this movie definitely is something where I'm like, please put Dev Patel in more movies. Like, even like as a director and an actor in this movie, I think he really like obviously is the star. I mean, he kind of made a commercial for himself a little bit, but like I don't feel like it's bad, because like the idea that he was directing this while shooting it is insane to me, because like he's getting the shit beat out of him every scene. Like he's in the middle of these fights, like doing this stuff. So like the idea that he was directing it at the same time, I think really just is like, wow, this guy's like on a level that I haven't quite seen before. Cause like other people like write and direct movies and they're acting in it, but I haven't seen quite this where like you're in every scene, you are in every shot, like you are doing so much action, like, and it's still very deliberate with how the camera moves and all of that kind of stuff.
Or maybe it took 6 years to film because it took so long to explain and then go back and watch it and then go back and reshoot it and then go back and explain it and then go back and reshoot it. It may have been a nightmare. Maybe everyone else on set hated it because this guy was trying to do too much. So
it does in some ways feel like particular. Like I said, it feels like there was a vision in mind with every scene, but like it doesn't come off like forced. It feels very like flowing. Like I really liked this movie.
That's good. Does it feel like oh gosh, as you were explaining it, it made me think of another movie. What is the name of the movie? Bullet Train. Does it have Bullet Train energy?
A little bit. I think like Bullet Train is like very like flashy sort of, and it doesn't have that. It's very gritty, you know. But
okay,
like
so it's like Bullet Train meets Sin City.
Yeah. I mean, I think The Raid is really like the movie that to me made the most sense to compare it with.
What?
The Raid. Have you ever seen that movie?
So I didn't see
where the guy has to like fight his
way
way up the building. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I was trying to find something I could relate to.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Bullet Train isn't like totally off. Like they could be like cousins for sure. Like, but like this guy wouldn't be one of the assassins on the train, I don't think.
Okay, all right, cool. All right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense. All right, well, I don't know if I'm as excited about this as I was Black Sail, but this might make an honorary mention list that once I've watched all these other things, I'll be like, oh, yeah, Lauren talked highly of this movie. I'll watch this one.
You could literally go, like, literally immediately after this ends, go watch Black Sails because it's on Netflix, and this you'll have to either buy it or wait a few weeks or whatever. But I think if it ever crosses your path, like, give it a shot because this was a very fun movie.
Okay. It just dawned on me there's something that I didn't talk about in our Around the Table, but I have been binging. I've been reading so many books. Like I think
that's good.
But I was like 5 books at one time, like going through 5 different books with 4 different people. So like doing book discussions and things. So it was just a lot. So I had stopped doing some of that Dimension 20 stuff, but I did pick back up Dimension 20, and I'm like 4 episodes in, maybe 5 episodes now. No, I think I'm 4 episodes into Dimension 20 Fantasy High Junior Year. And
can't wait for you to catch up because I just want to talk about it so bad.
They've really upped the production value on that show, like big time.
I love the artwork that they have in the background. Like the artist that they've had do all of that. I've immediately followed her. Like we should talk about that at some point because like the way that they've done all that stuff is so cool. Yeah. Did you see that one where they're in the mall and you can see all the stores behind them?
It's next. It's the next.
Okay.
Episode.
So I was like, I won't say more than that. Like,
what's been happening is Becca will be tired and go to bed, and I'm still a little wired. So I put it on, like I AirPlay it to the TV and I watch it before bed. So that's the episode that I'll probably watch tonight before bed if Becca goes to bed before me. Okay.
Just obsessed with those backgrounds. They're incredible.
Let's talk about my category. So I got TV, and what I've been doing this past week on top of playing a bunch of Lorcana is watching Netflix. So this is a great tie to what you were saying before, but on Netflix, we have the show The Gentleman. And The Gentleman is you might be thinking, that's a movie from a few years back by Guy Ritchie. And what you're thinking is absolutely correct. But there's also a television show by the same name, by the same creator. It's a Guy Ritchie series. And so if you don't know, I'll read the 1-sentence synopsis of the series. When aristocratic Eddie inherits the family estate, he discovers that his home that it's home to a huge weed empire, and its proprietors aren't going anywhere. And if you know Guy Ritchie, he has a lot of those quick cuts as well.
Yes, I actually think that like these two go together really well because they're like quick cut action movies that are like badass dudes, you know, like very like guy stuff, you know, like, but it's like really fun.
Yeah.
I love Guy Ritchie movies though. Like to me, they're like the most fun action movies because they're like a little silly and like he gets like the action is so fun and he always makes really cool characters. Like even if you don't know a lot about them, you're like, tell me more about that guy. They're all interesting.
And what's cool about his characters that he introduces, some of the tongue in cheek or fun or quirky things that he does is he'll give like a lot of times he'll do some kinetic typography on screen that'll just be like in this show it's all handwritten, so it's like it'll pause and it'll go and like write out like so and so's name, leader. I
think Snatch is the one that I always think of because like when they have the character intros, like they just snap up.
Yep. So it feels very much this is a Guy Ritchie show. So if you're not a fan of that kind of storytelling, then maybe skip this one. But it does pick up it picks up in the same world as the film. It's not the same characters, so it's not carrying the same story through, but it is in the same universe. So it's in London or somewhere in England, not London. It's somewhere in England. And right off the bat, at the beginning of the episode, the beginning of the series, you find out that the father of this estate dies, and they give he gives his home and all of his money and all of the everything to the second-born son, which sends the firstborn son, who is already a little, or we'll just say erratic.
He's a jerk.
He's a jerk, but it sends him off the rails a little bit. And I'm not going to say much about it because I want people to see this. So I'm not going to give a lot away.
Yeah.
But come to find out, the second son, come to find out he finds out that there's a whole operation that's happening on their estate that's been affording them the opportunity to stay on the estate because the estate is pretty much bankrupt. Other than physical assets like the home and like the vehicles and things, they don't really have any liquid assets. And so this is how he finds out that his father has been able to maintain this, whatever. So he's then faced with, what do I do? Do I kick them off the land? Do I partner with them? And I'll let the show tell the story of what he ends up doing. Some people that you or one person really that you may know from other shows is, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito. The Moff Gideon and the bad guy from Breaking Bad. I can't think of it. Gus
Fring.
Yeah.
He plays Stanley Johnston in the show, and I was super excited to see him. There's a couple other people you may recognize, but no one. A lot of these people are.
There's
English.
Another big actor from Skins in that show that like I always love it when people from that show come up because it's like a weird British teen drama that I really liked, but like everyone in it is famous now. Like Dev Patel was in it. Effie is the name of the girl who's like, I can't think of it, like the main kind of gangster girl.
I'm flipping through here.
I was like, I can't think
Susie?
of her character. Yes, Susie.
Yeah, Susie.
She's in it. Nicholas Hoult was in that show. A bunch of Game of Thrones people. It's just funny that I'm like always happy when they come back.
And Jolie Richardson? She plays Lady Sabrina. So she plays the mother of the two.
Oh
boys.
yeah.
She's in. What it is? Oh, I guess I can click on her IMDb. I don't know. I was like, you have
the IMDb up, so you're gonna have to check it because like I recognize her too.
What is she from? Not any The Patriot? No, that's not what I would recognize her from. I feel like she.
And isn't the like second son? Wasn't he in White Lotus, or am I imagining that?
He looks like he may have been, but I don't think it actually was him.
Okay, he just looks like
she was in Red Sparrow. None of these things are the thing that I remember her being in. So I must have her.
Well, I just confused the other guy. So if it makes you
Titanic, Blood and Steel.
Like a horror movie version of
it. I don't know. That's crazy. Anyway, she was in Nip Tuck. Maybe that's what I remember her from. I loved Nip Tuck. Did you ever watch Nip Tuck? She was in 100 episodes of Nip Tuck. That has to be
I watched a big chunk of that show so like my roommate's boyfriend was into it, and it was that time where like everyone watches the same shows because we had cable, and so we watched a lot of it. But then when like they broke up, like we didn't stick with it.
Okay, sure, yeah. Breakups change dynamics across the board. So
I know, but it's just so funny because I'm like, that's my memory of Nip Tuck is watching it with them.
It changes TV shows and watch patterns and all sorts of stuff. Food places. I think they're called restaurants. But so Anyway, this show is it's really all about navigating this illegal hundreds of $1,000,000 empire that's happening on your property. You feel like you may have some moral quandaries with, but then maybe you get sucked into some of that stuff. And so just watching that kind of happen, it's an 8-episode show. I don't know if it'll ever get a second season. I have 2 episodes left to finish it.
It's pretty popular. Like I got about like halfway through. I've still got to finish it, but I think it has a good chance of getting a second season. But Netflix is really hard to predict on what they actually push forward.
It's really hard. And so go watch The Gentleman. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a little
it's
bloody.
Pretty violent.
And it's a little bloody, but a lot of Guy Ritchie films are, and it's like, it's not.
Yeah, I should say Monkey Man is also very violent and bloody and really over the top on that stuff.
None of these are. We're not playing to the same crowd as the new episode of Bluey. So like, just be aware of what you're getting into if you jump into these things. I will give an honorary mention, since I had TV, to the Apple TV series called Manhunter, and it's about Did I mention it last week? No.
I was like, I'm just confused because Netflix had that show, or like very similar, like Manhunt maybe, like the one that was like kind of a spinoff from
Manhunter, and it's about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and tracking down, being on the man, all the politics that coincide with that. So on the first episode of the show, John Wilkes Booth kills.
Is this like a documentary or more like a drama?
Manhunt. So maybe ours was Manhunt and yours was Manhunter.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, they're even like but the one I'm talking about was like an anthology show anyway, where it was like following different criminals each season. But is this like a documentary or is it like a drama?
It's a drama. It's a drama, but it's not. It's not part of a series. It's its own standalone thing.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
But it is. It's really, really well done, and it really opens your eyes. You know, it's hard. Like Cooper. Luckily, Cooper right now in 8th grade is learning about the Civil War and all sorts of things, and so it's opened us up to be able to dialogue a little bit about some of that stuff. But as we're watching it, some of it's hard to watch because of like just the blatant racism. And as I'm sitting there watching it with Becca, I'm like, I don't think I could even be an actor and say some of the things that these people are saying. Like that would be really tough. So it's an eye-opening show for sure. Obviously, I'm sure there's some artistic liberties or freedoms that are taken. Not quite as many as Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, but have you seen that movie?
Yes, of course I have.
That movie's fantastic. That movie, I think I've only purchased 2 or 3 movies on I own.
I think like I remember like that, and then like Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies are like 2 separate movies directed by different people, but they're written by the same author. Like the books of them are, I think. Yep. Like I remember those like together. I really like both of those. They were really fun.
So yeah, that's your honorary mention. If you want something that's maybe a different style, it's more historic, based in reality, then maybe check out Manhunt. But if you want something a little bit more fun and fast paced, then go check out The Gentleman or Monkey Man.
Can I ask, just while we're talking about Apple TV shows, did you keep up with Palm Royale? I think I'm like 1 episode behind, but that show's really good too.
We have not watched. No, I think we're up to date. We are up to date because we wait. So it technically comes out on Wednesday, or like it's supposed to.
Yeah, I haven't been watching it on the day that it comes out. I just check in.
Ours has been, but it comes out at like 8 p.m. on Tuesday. So like the actual release day is Wednesday.
Yeah,
it comes out at 8 p.m. on Tuesday. We've been watching it Tuesday at like 8:05. We're waiting for it to drop. Yes. So we are up to speed on it, and it's taken a turn for sure. You've not watched the latest episode, you said?
No, I think I'm 1 behind.
I think maybe this 2. Latest episode may have jumped the shark, or more on the nose jumped the whale. You'll watch this episode, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I think I know what I saw like the preview for this, or like I remember them mentioning the whale at some point.
It gets it gets weird. So I
do feel like it was already feeling like they maybe stretched it out a little too long, and they could have just done the same thing with less episodes, and it would have been a lot like.
I'm really anxious to hear
snappier.
What you think after,
I need to finish it
after this next one, because this next one is the next one for you is it's weird. So
yeah, I will let you know what I think.
Not quite Sorry to Bother You, but like just on the edge, just teetering on the edge of Sorry to Bother You. Like what?
Is it bad that I'm now like, oh, I gotta watch it?
No, I think that's good. Yeah, I think it's must see TV.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's going to be it for us. You can find all the stuff that we're talking about over at mof1.network. While you're there, you can find show notes and links to all the stuff that we just talked about, as well as a ton of other episodes in the archive. I mean, so many. Well, they're numbered, so they are numberable, but it's so many. There's just too much to talk about. But go find one of those episodes, maybe 2 of those episodes, and share it. Put it on your social media. Download it and go play it in front of a big field full of people who are just trying to enjoy their nice day at the park, and just say, this is what I'm doing. Go to your local apartment complex pool and play it really loud, which is what apparently everyone go to the pool and play whatever music they want as loud as they possibly can. Go do that.
That'd be so funny, honestly, to play a podcast and not music. Like,
go and
like
annoy
any
people
podcast
with your
is
support.
funny to do that. Like,
yeah. This is Ira Glass. You're listening to This American Life. Yeah, just such a totally. Usually what we hear is hip hop or really loud, like either flamenco or Spanish music.
Yeah, and I like, I get where you're like that, like, you know, it's not my taste in music, whatever, but like listening to someone else's podcast list is so intrusive. Like,
I would love to do that with like a true crime podcast where it's just getting into like super intense
next on My Favorite Murder or whatever.
And you've got kids just playing in the pool right there.
Yeah.
We used to float the river, the Guadalupe River.
Oh yeah.
Every spring and summer, and people would just bring, and that's like a 2-hour thing, right? Like you get on the river and you float, and it takes 2 hours. People will bring tubes that just have a massive speaker, and they'll just play whatever music as loud as they want. And we've had to like hold on to roots or grab
to, like,
the
get away from
walls or whatever
them
to just stay put so that they could get down river enough that we didn't have to deal with it. But like, come on, you can't do that on a plane when you're on a flight for 2 hours. What makes you think you can do that when you're doing that? Like, people are trapped next to you while you're doing this thing. That's just super inconsiderate. Anyway, I'll hop off of my soapbox.
I was like, have you done the, like, I don't remember what river it is, but when you do it in Austin, like, there's enough places where you can like choose to stand up and stop if you want to, or spread out a bit. Like, it's not like totally packed. So like there are people playing music, but it's never been like, oh my gosh, it's so loud or whatever, you know, like they're just kind of parked to the side playing music as you go by or whatever.
Yeah, those people aren't as big of a deal. Like if they're setting up kind of like a little camp, like a little camping.
Yeah, but the river's very wide there. So like this thing is like people will keep it moving in the middle, but along the either side, people stop if they want to. And like, you know, but I've spent like the whole day out there.
I love that. I used to like to drive to Austin, park at the park and run the river.
That's such a good idea.
Cross the bridge and then run back the other way. It's super fun. I've been on hikes there and stuff like that.
We should do a float trip. It's so fun.
We should. M of 1 float trip this summer, everybody.
I got so drunk the last time I went.
M of 1.
Yeah.
Nothing about it is Master of 1 other than it's just people like, who are part of the community.
We're just going to draw like with a Sharpie on our tubes M of 1. Like,
ooh, what we typically do, like we strap our tubes together to make like a cohort, right? What if we did that and recorded while we were floating down the tube, and there was a whole episode that was just us like tube talk with M of 1.
It's gonna be so chaotic, but I would do it.
Especially when we hit the chutes.
I know.
We have to go single file down the chutes. Okay, anyway, let's roll some dice, figure out what we're talking about next week. I'll roll for Patrick.
Let me get my spreadsheet up real quick. Sorry. I'm unprepared.
Okay, this is for Patrick.
Let's use my fun dice. And a 4. Okay.
He's talking about past 9. Patrick is talking about past 9.
I got 13 and a 4. Sorry, past 9 is going to be toys. Past toys.
Okay, great.
And then for you?
I rolled a 4, so it's anytime. And 2.
A 2. Why am I not seeing 2? Okay, there we go. Fashion.
Okay, fashion. Great.
I got 13, fantastic. Which is games. Great.
Games. Okay, everybody. I think that we did it. I think we made it through this episode.
Done it.
I know that Patrick's not here and you had to just stick it out with Lauren and I, but we're okay. Like, we're fine.
Talked about cool movies and stuff.
It's a little bit of an earlier night, so here's what you do, everybody who's tuning in right now. Take your extra time and allocate the time that you would have spent listening to the show. So another, half hour or so, and write your congressman. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know about what. Just write. Maybe just give them a nice little encouragement.
Whatever you feel like telling them.
Just do what your heart tells you to do. But I think for now we are going to get out of this episode. Lauren. Oh, we need to close the episode. What are we doing? We need to close the episode.
We were pretty close.
Rate and review the show, do things. That's what we say typically. I'm so thrown off from the.
I think you did say that before. You're good.
I don't know if I did, but we're on One Pod.
I'm at Not Cool Co everywhere.
And I'm at Andrew Sale with 3s instead of E's. If you want to see my one post every 4 months, which is about my cadence right now on Instagram. It's
about mine as well, to be real, so don't feel too bad. But I'm going to pick it up because Comic Blues is coming out.
I have not picked up a pencil to draw in... Have I drawn since we've been married? I was
just about to ask you that. Yeah.
So being married to Becca means I no longer have talent.
This means you don't have time.
Oh, okay. I guess that's a different.
I promise.
That's a different way of reading that. I'm sure she'll love that. But you can. This is her response.
In the chat. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, but for now, we are going to get out of this episode. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Lauren.
Peace out.
Adios.
Okay, everybody, we did it. Hey, if I would I'll draw Becca, but I won't be able to post it. Yo.
Draw her like one of your French girls.
Becca, I don't have any French girls, I swear.
It's from a movie, I promise.
Yeah, it's from Titanic, Blood and Steel. Who knew Titanic was going to get 3 references in this episode?
That was like such a good callback, Andrew. That was perfect.
Who knew? I'm going to go. Enjoy your extra time this evening. Go play some Lorcana. Yeah. Go maybe pick up a pencil. And, hey, if you do have something to say to your congressman, I'm sure they would love hearing from you. But
yeah, right.
We're going to start waving, and that's going to be our cue to go away. Bye, everybody.
Bye.